Hey everybody, and welcome back to another one of Mudflap's movie reviews. My name is Mudflap, and today I will be reviewing the second installment of the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them franchise, The Crimes of Grindelwald. Let's get started. So, The Crimes of Grindelwald is directed yet again by David Yates, and we have a lot of the original cast from the first one returning, as well as some new cast members, including Jude Law, Zoe Kravitz, and Callum Turner. So at the beginning of this movie, we see Gellert Grindelwald in jail, and he's about to be transferred to the London jail. This takes place exactly a year after the first Fantastic Beasts movie. Grindelwald escapes. He's a very clever, very tricky man. Even with all the precautions that the MACUSA had set up, Grindelwald still manages to escape. And with Grindelwald escaped, he's now on the search for Credence once again to convince him to join his army and to finally make his plan of ruling the entire wizarding and non-wizarding world into a reality. So Newt is back in London, where he has now just been banned from internationally traveling due to all the problems that he caused in New York, even though most of those problems weren't his fault. He was just there to find rare animals and continuing to nurture the animals that he has, but he was thrown into the whole craziness of Grindelwald and Credence and all the tension there's there, but it keeps growing and growing, and it's getting even worse now. Credence survives, and he's in France, and we finally get introduced to Dumbledore, who is played by Jude Law, which I think that was a perfect casting for Dumbledore. Dumbledore has been one of my favorite characters for a very long time. So I was really happy to see that Jude Law just did a really great job of portraying him. He had all the wittiness and just the total Dumbledore-ness that you would expect either from a young Dumbledore or from an old one. But Dumbledore recruits Newt to go find Credence in France to just get through to him, because Credence is going through a lot of stuff right now. He still doesn't know who he is. This movie really digs deep into who Credence really is. The only negative thing I really have to say about this movie is, yeah, I know it's called The Crimes of Grindelwald, and Johnny Depp does a superb job playing Grindelwald. Johnny Depp has been favorite actor of mine for a very, very long time. But the funny thing is, Grindelwald has a lot of appearances, but it doesn't really dive into much depth as to what exactly his crimes were. Like, we all know he wants to take over the wizarding community, he's killed some people, but that plot kind of seems shallow. It really seemed to pull the focus from Grindelwald onto Credence, and it seemed a lot of the focus of the movie was on Credence and who he is and why he has this power, why he has an Obscurious power, and why he's so important to this whole battle between the No-Mags and the magical community, and why Grindelwald wants him so badly. But that's the only really negative thing I'd have to say is, I know a lot of people didn't really like this movie as much as the first one. I would have to agree. The first one was a lot better. It had more grounded plot and storyline to it. This one did to a degree, but it definitely wavered. Kind of was all over the place. I loved seeing Credence getting a lot more screen time, because he didn't have a ton in the first one, but I think he had too much screen time. Of course, we got to see Grindelwald at the very end. Really great speaker. He's very convincing, which we were told in the movie that he's a very convincing guy, and you can definitely see that at the very end, but he didn't have a whole lot of appearances considering the movie was basically named after him. If you want to see my review for the first Fantastic Beasts movie, it's going to be right about there, so click that link to check that out. I highly recommend it. We also get introduced to Newt's brother, who's played by Callum Turner. You can tell right away that there's some love lost there between he and his brother, but eventually they find a way to work together. They would get introduced to a Lestrange from the legendary Lestrange family. Leta Lestrange, I'm not sure what relationship she has to Bellatrix Lestrange, probably a cousin of some kind. Leta Lestrange played by Zoe Kravitz. We get to see really how the Lestrange name was always been kind of nefarious and not talked about in a good way. The Lestranges were always weird. They always had a chip on their shoulder, and we got to see that with Leta. It was clear that Leta had feelings for Newt, but her love interest lied actually with his brother. But it was great seeing a new character like that, And another great character that we got introduced to a little early on in the movie was Nagini, who I didn't know about this at all, but I never read the books, so that's totally on me. I should totally read the books before I watch movies like this. But I didn't know Nagini was actually a human, a woman, and she could transform into Genie whenever she wanted to, and then she would transform back into a human. A lot like what Sirius Black could do. Animagus can transform into an animal and then transform back into a human. So it's a temporary fix. But it was great seeing Nagini in there. I hope to see a lot more of her. And the third movie just coming out in a couple days. There's a lot of rumors circulating that the next few Fantastic Beasts movies we're going to see a young Tom Riddle. And I want to see how Nagini ends up with Tom Riddle. So that'll be really cool to see that in the near future. This movie was good. Not great. But I still really enjoyed it. So I'm going to give this movie 6.5 out of 10 Mudflaps. It just didn't deliver as much as I was hoping, but it was still an enjoyable movie. Yeah, I definitely should watch it again if you're as much of a Harry Potter fan as I am. Drop in the comments below, what did you like most about the movie The Crimes of Grindelwald? And as always, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and I'll see you next time.